So I don't believe that there's an issue, but we do follow up periodically to see if they want to put anything in writing to us. It has been submitted, they've acknowledged it, but at this point we haven't gotten a formal response back that said they accept it.
Are there any more questions for the engineer? Not moving on. Unfinished business. We have the discussion and possible amendments to the towing ordinance. Council, we received a few meetings ago. We had a few of our local towers come before us and recommend some changes that they would like to see in the ordinance. We got some feedback from our handy solicitor and the business administrator and just our own personal research for some things to think about. I guess I'll make my comments first. The solicitor provided us with a few statutes. I was able to look at the document that the statutes came from, the predatory towing prevention law. In that statute, I know one of the things Mr. Moe wanted changed was the time. In that statute, it actually mentioned it has set times for office hours, which are 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. at least 5 days a week, excluding holidays. So that automatically, in reading that in a document, that automatically eliminates the time that Mr. Moe was looking to change. And speaking to Mr. Moe on the telephone, another thing that he was looking to do is possibly increase some of the fees. One being the heavy duty towing, which I believe is on page 12 of our ordinance, and there were a few other fees towards the back. I personally don't have an issue with increasing some of those fees. It is a business. You know, tow trucks break down, just like our township equipment at times breaks down and needs to be fixed. So I personally don't have an issue with increasing some of those fees a little bit. But the time change, I don't see how we'd be able to do that because that is a law. Also, if I'm not mistaken, one of the things that Mr. Moe was requesting be eliminated was New Jersey, taken out of, I believe, the opening paragraph.
Definitions there.
Yeah, I don't believe that would be an issue either.
Jason, when you say you're okay with raising the fees, how are you looking? So I'm looking at our spreadsheet that we received, and the current fee, let's just say, for basic towing is $105 for the day and $125 for night, and they're requested to be raised to $125. So I say that to say, like, what is your suggestion
No, it was
for some of these?
If I may, Jason. I was looking at that too, and Andy, I got a question for you. We've got a day and night rate on there. Why can't we just do with a flat rate, regardless of whether it's day or night?
You probably could.
And that would make it more simplistic all the way around there.
Well, I would imagine if a tower has to go out at 2 in the morning, at 11 at night, they probably would want to get more for that service than if they were doing it at 2 in the afternoon.
Well,
I assume that's the thinking.
you know, I figure if it's a like Letha just said, the basic tow, if it's a flat rate of $125 day or night, then it washes out in the works of it.
I can understand that, too.
Oh, you're saying lower the night?
It's just one
Well,
flat
now
fee
leave
for that
it,
one
leave
day.
in
the
between.
night.
Yeah, leave it in between.
Correct.
So
See,
instead of-
there was a request to raise the night fee also,
No,
from 125 to 130.
like I said, my suggestion is just have no day and night, do away with it, and have one flat fee, except for the heavy one. And I think the request was $250 per hour, and because of the specialized needs there, I think that's very reasonable.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I mean, there has to be discussion on how we increase the rates.
Right.
I'm not saying, you know,
But, you look at businesses, we just went through the budget, a lot of employees, well, as a matter of fact, we just passed a salary ordinance where people got pay raises. The employees of these companies are going to get, annual pay raises. Gasoline prices or diesel, or whatever you want to, are always in flux. I'm enjoying the low prices right now and hope they stay that way. But then you have other costs, electricity, medical is a big thing now. A lot of companies are really getting hurt with the higher premiums on medical care, and it's required that they cover them. They're going to have to get the money somehow, and the way they get the money is from the fees.
I can assume that night fees, because like with any job, night differentials they get a little bit more pay. I guess that might be why they're raising the night fee. Yeah.
Like I said, I think if you tabulate it over the course of it, it's going to be a wash. It'll be about the same.
so that if council is willing to raise some of the rates, I mean, that would be a discussion that we would have to have.
I have another question, Jason. In the response time, I'm on the page that Andy provided, council.
25 to 30 minutes.
Right, it has 25 to 30 minutes, which is what Mr. Mall is requesting, and Andy's research said the nearby municipalities are 15 to 25 minutes, and if we were to change it, it would be something we would have to, he suggested, talk to the chief of police and the fire chief.
Yeah,
Explain
that's
it a little
summarized.
bit.
Well, obviously, it's a public safety issue. And
Okay.
If you have fire and or police responding to accidents, I'm sure they want to be out there as short a time as possible. So.
On the flip side, I understand what you're saying, but if
I don't think it's necessarily having the rescue personnel or the fire or the police out there. It's getting the roadway cleared.
well,
That's the
if there's an accident, a lot of times it's because of inclement weather. So what you're telling your tow truck driver is, okay, rush out there even though we know the roads are unsafe. And me personally, I would rather have them take 5 minutes a little longer and get there safely.
Well, we like to think he's talking about on a, I don't want to say good day, but when the roads are safe.
Right.
Just a regular accident,
You know
bender.
you know my
I
thought
know you go
process.
to the left.
Well, my suggestion was not having a lawyer give you the advice.
I know.
My suggestion was having hear from the chief or Chief Augustoni about it. That was my suggestion.
And I honestly, I kind of agree with Mr. Politer's comments where we shouldn't be getting as involved as we are, to be honest.
Well, I think the fees part, we're getting involved to
Protect the customer.
protect the residents.
Right.
For a lack of better, to just make sure we're not having too much cost onto them, because it could be any one of us. Right.
I can understand insurance.
As well.
I can understand the insurance requirements and
Right.
some of the other requirements we have to protect the consumer out there. But some of the things some of the things we have in here, I think, are going above. We shouldn't be reaching into them. I think it should be the business owner's decision on how he runs the business. We shouldn't be telling them to do that.
But
Can I ask,
administration deals with contracts.
I want to ask a question to Andy. Andy, does this ordinance apply to any tow operation that is not related to the township calling the tow operator? Because
No, I
I
mean, I
believe
think
that
it-
this is
no.
only governing
Our
our
town.
request for service. The township's request for service.
But there's a
we're
car
just-
accident,
we're-
the police call
Correct,
for a
we're
tow or
controlling it, but if
Yeah.
if the tow operator's in business, and if you called up and said, hey, can you come pick my car up at my house, I
doesn't
need it
regulate.
fixed, they could charge you whatever they want.
Correct.
So
This
we're
doesn't-
not controlling tow operations, we're just controlling what occurs based on our involvement, the township's involvement.
Correct, Mayor, you're absolutely correct.
And that's why there wouldn't be an issue with taking out New Jersey also, right? It's
Correct.
Small, but
Because obviously, any tow in Pemberton's within New Jersey anyway, so I don't really understand the request, that particular change.
So I guess my question would be to council is, are we looking to modify some of these fees to be a fair amount?
I'm okay with a slight increase, as I said before.
Okay, so with this, that being said, you have to come up with numbers, am I correct?
We could, if we want to go down
Yep.
down the list on page
The
6.
policy, that's in your bailiwick, yes.
If we want to work down, starting with the first block, basic flatbed towing, current fee 105 for day, 125 at night. One of the tow operators requested or suggested 125 and 135. I'm okay with 110 and 120.
110 and 120?
I'm sorry. 110 and 130, which is, you know,
Just the
a $5 increase.
Okay.
It's not even 5%.
Said it's not even 5%. It's only $5 less than what they were requesting.
No, it's not.
No.
They're
Well, the 130 is.
The 130, not the
Oh,
125.
well, yeah, well, not the first one.
And so my suggestion is just going one flat rate is just totally out the door then? We're not going to consider that?
Hey, this is a group discussion, so, I mean, it's,
Do we want to go with one flat rate? It makes it a lot easier. I
Of
think.
what?
The basic
No,
flat towing.
For any of, well,
No,
for,
one flat rate of what? What would the rate be? What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting 125, day or night.
So no increase for night towing.
Flat rate of 125 day or night.
I would go with the 135.
Because of the night.
Day or night?
Because of the nighttime. I do understand what he's saying. You go out at night, it's like, we give our officers a shift diff. If you work at as a nurse, you get a shift diff for going out, for nighttime.
If you want to give them more money, I'm fine with that.
yeah, that's, I mean, so you're going with what was
Why is everyone
recommended?
looking at me like that?
Because you
Because
just,
you're going above and beyond what he's requesting.
right.
Only going above and beyond for the daytime. Jason just put it up at 5 for the daytime and 5 for
The nighttime.
the
I was
nighttime, right?
considering a flat rate, no daytime and nighttime, just one flat rate.
Then I think we should keep it two separate ones.
Okay, that's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying, keep it two separate ones.
Okay, so if we keep it two separate ones, what is council comfortable with for day, and what is council comfortable with for night? My recommendation, again, for day is 110, for night is 130, which is still an increase.
115 and 130.
That's what I was thinking, to be honest
Fine with me? Moving on, trucks, 2.5 to 5 tons.
So that's the town, don't forget. Wait, 'cause this, if you have like a fire truck or something, I don't know, probably impact if you're free.
This might be a silly question, I don't know. I'm a visual, what is a truck that's 2.5 to 5 tons? What kind of truck is that?
Dump truck?
A dump truck, right? Dump truck?
Andy, is that a dump truck?
Okay.
Again, my suggestion is a $5 increase, from 125 to 130, and from 145 to 150, which is still in between what we currently have and what the business owner suggested.
What did you say your second one was?
150.
150?
I'm okay with the 135 and 150. Still an increase.
I agree with that, too. 150.
Ken, are you thinking, or are you?
No, that's what I have written down here.
That's fine.
Yep.
Jack, are you okay with that?
Sure.
I mean, or do you have any?
135, you're saying?
135 and 150. Originally, I said 130, but 135 and 150. The next category, over 5 tons, buses, tractors, trailers, heavy equipment. This was one of the categories that I spoke to Mr. Mull about, and he basically was saying for the heavy equipment tows, those tow trucks, they're pretty expensive. So when if they break down, they're pretty costly.
We just paid $2,400 for this last, we just passed $2,400 to tow one of our own trucks for that much.
Currently, the ordinance suggests 225 for day, 250 for night.
And he's requesting just a 250
flat
an hour
rate,
flat
yeah.
fee.
Not flat fee.
Yeah, he's
Per hour.
Per hour.
Well, he
Yeah,
said
he's saying-
250 an hour, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
250 an hour.
That'd be a big change.
Why you say it's a big change?
Oh, 2 hours is $500. 3 hours is $750 or whatever.
Yeah, but the special equipment and all the other things that are involved with that,
I'm not disputing that
Right,
point.
you're
I'm
just
just saying
making
it's a
it-
big
yeah.
change.
I'm
Not that
thinking
much
when we,
time's involved.
I'm thinking,
Before we make a decision on that, can we get some sort of report on what has occurred how long has the contract's been in effect now? 3 years?
Yeah.
Can we
3
get some
years.
sort of report from the 2 current as to how many times has this happened, day, night, that sort of thing, and how much the charges came to?
for the over 5 tons.
Yes.
Okay.
well, Ken, I understand what you're saying, but I think a better report would be something from the insurance company saying what their normal claim for something like this is.
I have no idea who the insurance companies would be. I know what it costs the tow operators to do those functions, or they know what it costs them.
You're just trying to get an idea how many
Yes.
times he goes out
Yes.
for that.
And how long it took.
One to take 2 hours,
Yeah.
3 hours.
Okay, so we'll put a hold on that, and you're requesting.
Get him that.
Can you make that request again? So
Report.
On that specific unit, as to the number of times they had to tow these sort of vehicles for the township, the time limit, or the amount of time it took them, the cost that it incurred. And anything else, Mr. Bear, you may think it to be pertinent to the report.
fair enough. Winching services. The current ordinance says 75. The business owner's recommendation is 95.
I didn't even address that.
85?
Yeah, that's what I wrote down too.
You okay with that, Jack?
Sure.
Jack, you okay? No?
Mileage. The current mileage is $3.50 per mile. The recommendation is $4.50 per mile.
I'm actually all for keeping it the way it is right now.
I'm okay with that also.
Sorry, I was thinking 4. Sorry.
You and I agree.
Never.
18. Vehicles towed from our area outside limit.
Ken, what's your thought of mileage?
I was right along the same lines. It looks like we're splitting the difference there the whole way down. Yeah, so that's what I was doing. $4.
Because I understand the need for an increase.
Norman, I think you're the tiebreaker there.
What was that again? I didn't hear you.
Keeping it the same or raising it to 4?
I'll say keeping it the same.
Jason? What did you say?
I said keep it the same. I mean, I'm just trying to, I'm trying to balance things out. I mean, we are looking out for the residents, and we're also trying to look out for our business owners. So I'm not trying to increase everything, but I have no problems with $4 is in between.
Okay, majority. Next.
Storage under 5 tons. The current ordinance states $25. The suggestion or recommended is $35.
Okay with that?
Same here.
Can I explain something on this, Jason, that I talked to one of the business owners about that made a lot of sense?
Sure, Jeff.
Might kind of help a little bit.
Mhm.
If you have and I don't have a problem with the first one, but if you have a car or a truck or a motorcycle, it takes up a certain size of footprint. But if you have a dump truck or a bus or a tractor trailer, it takes up a much bigger footprint. And that footprint you could possibly put 4 or 5 standard vehicles in. So that's what they're looking at. They're looking at, okay, if I got a bus and I'm storing it for $60, I could put 3 vehicles in there and get 75. Am I explaining that
Yeah.
enough? And I think that's I can really understand that. You know, a lot of these folks only have so much storage space, so you want to get paid for what you're using.
Understood. I have down $30, but I'm sure you all will be okay with the 35 that's recommended.
I'm okay with 35.
Me too.
I was too.
Storage trucks over 5 tons. The ordinance states 50. The recommendation is 75.
I actually agree with that too.
I kind of got 65.
I think a 50% increase is a bit much.
So are we comfortable with
I hear your story, I hear what you're saying, and it makes sense to me.
Are we okay with 65?
Yeah, I'd be all right with 65.
Storage trucks, tractor trailers, buses, heavy equipment over 5 tons. The ordinance states $60. The recommendation is $125.
That was a big jump, but can only imagine it's because of the heavy trucks that
Well,
is
then the
here.
real estate they take up, you can, like I said, you can
Sure.
put 5 cars there.
Anybody have a number?
25.
125, you were good with what was there?
No, what they requested,
Oh.
requested from 60 to 125, and I'm actually very good with that.
I'm not sure.
Ken,
I'm not sure.
I'm okay with that one.
with 125?
Yes.
Oh, everybody's over to 125. I see. Jason, what were you thinking?
I'm fine with 125.
I was thinking 85, but majority rules, so I'm okay with that.
I think I hear a storm coming.
Shut up. I mean, be quiet, please. We have to move. I can't be next to
Aren't you
him.
ordained?
Road service,
Where we stand at 125, I'm sorry? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm okay with 125.
road service, the ordinance says 75. The recommended is 95. I have down 80, but I'm sure you all will be okay with 95.
Road service. It's for vehicle lockout service.
I think a lot of times they go to other folks for these.
And that
anyway.
would be for municipal vehicles, correct?
Well, you get 4 free tow. You get, well, this isn't a tow. Road service. I don't know.
Am I correct?
Well, I don't know of any reason why the police would call for a lockout for a resident, you know. do that, but not on the township's behalf, so they
Right, that's
may
what
be
I'm saying.
representing the person, and
We can't
you
stipulate what they would charge
You
them.
can't control what that price is, but if it was a township vehicle, if that's what it's referring to, then, you might want to control the township's lockout. Hopefully, we don't lock any vehicles down.
Why would we call a tow company for a lockout?
And I think we would call.
I don't know. That's a good question, because we should have keys to all our vehicles.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
And spares, and I believe all our police vehicles might be key to like.
So,
And is there, but it doesn't say.
Doesn't say. It just, the ordinance says, you could ask Andy maybe what this is, but it says,
You're Andy.
I meant that Andy. Yes. Road service, vehicle lockout service, daytime rate, and then night rate. That's all the ordinance currently says. Vehicle lockout service. So,
Township vehicles?
doesn't say. Just that.
Looking at Andy's.
Oh.
No, we've never used that on township vehicles. That's someone needs to jump in, that's not how to get locked out.
Mr. Mall,
That's what's up.
can you come forward and can you say what you just said into the microphone, please?
That come from the police? Where do you get that kind of call from the police?
Now, I think what they're referring to is if a customer goes into Wawa, their car's running, they don't know what to do. A patrolman runs up, calls us up for a lockout. Then we come and lock it out. Or if you're on the side of the road and have a flat tire, that would be under road service. Runs out of gas, that would be under road service plus gas. I'm sure that's what we've never had to lock out a cop.
okay.
Okay? Yeah.
Okay.
And that 5-minute thing just while I'm up here, that was a misprint. I wasn't asking for that.
Okay,
It's supposed to be 30.
okay.
That was a misprint. That's all that was.
Got it.
Because the ordinance says 30 in the ordinance
Mhm.
a couple times.
Okay.
That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you,
for the
Andy.
clarification.
That makes, yeah.
Heaven forbid.
Counsel.
Jason, can I go back to one that I have in my notes that we passed over? Just barely passed over. It's item D there, the storage.
The one right above.
Yes, sir. The way this was explained to me is sometimes the owner of a vehicle, for whatever reason that's in storage, it might have been impounded, it might have been in an accident or whatever, sometimes if the owners of the vehicles will request permission to go in and take things out of the vehicle. And the problem with that is if they're going out there to go looking for a purse or a wallet or something like that, that's understandable. But a lot of times these folks know that the car has zero value sitting there in storage, and they'll go out and they'll take out their stereo or remove their specialized rims from the vehicle and stuff, and then they'll let it sit there, and then it's the operator or the business owner's responsibility to pay for salvaging this vehicle because all the worthwhile things are taken out of it. And they explained that this has happened to them a few times. So that's why they were asking for the
Big increase.
for the vehicles, storage fees must be paid in full before any items are removed from it by the owner or legal representative. And I think I emailed that to you with some of my notes. I don't know if you...
Yeah. I read through your notes. I read through Andy's
This has been
notes. I read through
ongoing,
Andy's
so-
conversation. So
It's
yep.
been ongoing.
Okay. So are there any other changes?
Did you make a decision on road service on the last one?
No.
Okay. Well, you still have the towing, the heavy tractors open also.
Yeah. Well, we're requesting a report for that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, but we wrote down everything else.
Yep, I have it.
Let me see. We might try to
All these numbers.
change some of the numbers.
That's it.
don't
So
trust
what are we
these?
going to do about the last category? The ordinance says 75. The recommendation is 95.
I believe where it is.
At
Fine
75?
at 75?
But I got a feeling if they call
Fine at 95?
one of the other lot companies in town, it's gonna be a lot more than
Charge for it.
75 or 95.
Okay, and
That's what you
the
requested.
report for the number of times they had to tow these vehicles, who would that report come
You
from?
requested that.
Police, probably.
Actually, I believe Dennis may have it. I think he may have got it from the tow operators already. So, we can provide, you're talking about township vehicles, correct?
I think overall, Dave, not just...
Overall,
Oh, overall, okay, we'd have to request that, we can request, the administration can request that from the,
it may well be that it was only township vehicles.
Right. Overall, that could be a pretty, lengthy, we'll have to get back to you with that. We'll reach out to each tow operator, see if how that can be obtained.
Okay. Council okay with that?
Yes.
Oh, and the New Jersey thing, I mean, you'll take that out?
Yeah.
No issue, okay. Bill list. Ken requests to pull page 8 of the bill list.
Page
Fire
8
de-
department, fire department. yeah.
Fire department. You see your name listed?
Yes, I do.
There was. I saw it.
Is there a motion to approve the entire fire department on page 8?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second the motion.
Sunshine?
Ms. Jackson? Yes. Ms. Trueblood?
Yes.
Mr. Cartier?
Abstain.
Mr. Tompkins?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Solicitor report?
I have nothing for tonight, Council President.
You will.
Mayor? Patriarca?
Yes, first I want to commend the fire department on the outstanding job they're doing on recruitment. They seem to be getting a few good men and women.
I think there's a woman.
Women, yes.
Yeah, I was going there. I was just looking at one of the new members trying to get a reaction. But no, I do have to commend them. They're moving forward and keeping our residents safe. And other than that, I just have two announcements. We received 2 grants, a confirmation from State Department of Transportation. The first one is for municipal aid program, and in the amount of $234,175, and that is for the paving of Sepulga Drive. So we will be having the engineers prepare the design for that work and see how far we can travel down Sepulga Drive as we did with Tensol on the grant we got there. That project will be done through contract, so our guys will still be paving out on the projects they're doing throughout the town. Currently, like I said, I believe they're on Bellevue, heading to Arabella next. So we're excited about getting that. And the second grant is from the Safe Streets to Transit program through DOT, and that's in the amount of $500,000, and that will be applied to the continuation of the project that we started on Evergreen Boulevard, where we put sidewalks on a portion of Evergreen Boulevard. The plan and what we applied for was to pick up on the West Lakeshore side of the project, at the end of the project, continue. I believe it goes maybe another 100 yards, if that, and then down Ogden, a small street along the, I guess would be the west side of West Lake or Evergreen, and cross the creek, or some may say creek, and with a walk bridge, come in through township-owned property and come in behind the library. What this will do is now present a walkable path from that particular development into town, and the idea is to be able to get folks to public transportation if necessary, and we have public transportation. It used to be on Trenton Road, but now I believe it's on Juliustown Road. That's the 317, our last bus. But we are getting residents the opportunity to walk safely to that, and it also benefits us because now they can walk safely into town, on safe sidewalks. So we're excited about that. We have the engineers working on the design to give us an idea how far this project's going to go, how far we can extend these sidewalks, in this particular neighborhood.
Has anybody reached out to Pinelands as whether they're going to accept this?
We had
Feasibility
a
of it?
preliminary meeting with Pinelands, sit down, an informal meeting a while back when we were making application, and at that time we were told they saw this as not to be a problemed project, that they thought it would be allowable. We haven't submitted the formal project yet, so we're
Yeah, but
still-
you had a discussion with them about it. Okay.
Yeah, we had a discussion, and they were very positive about it at that particular meeting. So we're only hoping that we can get through, and that's going to be the engineer's job to get us through the wetlands and pinelands issues, so that we can get this project done. Because we've been trying this for multiple years now. We've been getting shot down on this grant, and our Director of Community Development, Dave Benedetti, went in and met with the members of DOT that review these grants to try and find out why are we losing opportunities. And they made some reference to an outstanding project over on the north side of town that may have something to do with the train station, a grant that's still out there that we're working through with the county, and we assured them that we are moving forward there, and bingo, we got 2 grants, and we're applying for actually we talked today about safe streets, safe sidewalks to schools, and we're preparing an application for that grant, which is coming up. So, but we're excited about these 2.
Cool. Are you keeping track of the amount of grant money that has been received by the township over the last couple of years? And I ask that because since I've been on council, it seems like administration has done an excellent job of presenting council with grant opportunities, and I'm sure that the amount of money that the townships received is a pretty good chunk of change.
It is, and I just started, actually, it's funny you mentioned that, Friday, working on a small spreadsheet that I was just mentioning to our engineer a few minutes back as to, to get a picture of where we're at with our projects. And just a quick snapshot, I've got us over $3.3 million, $3.2 million. So we've been doing well despite what we haven't been receiving. So, and that's, Green Acres, that's the county parks development grants that we get, or DOT grants, and they're just the open projects. That's not the projects that we've got that are already closed out. So it's considerable.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council comment?
Can I start, Mike?
Mr. Tompkins?
Come on, it's Jack, you know that. Friday I had the honor and privilege of going to coffee with a congressman. I did meet with Tom Friday. I had a couple comments with him for a few things in the town, but those politicians, you just can't hold them down to nothing. But at least I put my 2 cents in, and hopefully when he goes back to Washington and he's talking to some of his folks, he'll remember a couple of the comments I made. At the last council meeting, well, let me back up. At the beginning of the year, I gave my New Year's resolutions and stuff. And then at the last council meeting, I was pretty upset because I had said I'd seen the police officers out in the parking lot getting dressed, and I wasn't too happy with that either. So I'm not a lawyer, but I did start working up. I did a little bit of research online, and I started working up a little bit of an ordinance that I'd like to consider at the next meeting.
You only made 1? Oh.
I think I got a number. Okay. And basically what I handed out to the rest of the council is New Jersey statutes, and it's 14-118, police force creation, establishment, regulation, members, chief of police powers and duties, and it goes into some of the other things. And it kind of, the way I looked at it, it kind of gives us some emergency powers as the governing body to take certain actions. And one of them that I think we need to do is to open those police locker rooms. And as I said, I wasn't too happy with it at the last council meeting, so I kind of typed up some guidance here using that, and I think maybe we need to take a look at this and discuss it as a possible ordinance to take action on.
Just for clarity, Jack, and I'll mind if I call you Jack, do you?
You've called me worse, I'm sure, but...
No, joking. The locker rooms are open, so just for clarity.
Okay, that's fine. And you're right, I'm sorry if I misspoke there. They are open for like 7 minutes between shifts.
Well, okay.
You're biased.
I would not be, but I know what the law says. And I know this came up at the last meeting because my partner told me about it. I could issue something now that you've put something in writing, but generally speaking, regulation of municipal property and employment is delegated to the mayor, as between the mayor and council under Faulkner. I think you'll have some of those. This ordinance would run into some of those separation of powers issues. So, but we can. It's in writing. I'll put the memo together for you for the next meeting.
It's something I want to look at.
Yeah.
I want to give our officers every opportunity to use these facilities.
And there's also law under the federal labor FLSA, which you wouldn't be able to regulate by ordinance as well. And the whole issue is if an officer comes in 7 minutes before he's entitled to compensation, and that's exactly the claim they're making.
If you look in there, I also have.
Yeah, I know, but I don't
in there
think you
to
can
kind of
regulate
cover
that. I don't think that would. You can't usurp federal law.
Okay.
That would be the problem. But anyway, I'll put together a memo for council on this.
And that's all I have. And thanks for everyone that came out. It was interesting discussing the chickens tonight.
Thanks, Jack. Ms. Jackson.
I just had one thing. I was at a meeting with union stuff, and there's some employees that will be retiring, and it was brought up that in the past, Mrs. Denny would get a proclamation from council to the retired school employees. So my question is to the mayor, do you recall that? And if it is something that was done, they were asking if we would continue that?
Well, council does resolutions.
Right.
The mayor does proclamations, and in the past, proclamations have been done by my office. They generally supply them for us.
Okay.
Yes.
I meant to ask you when we had our conversation. I forgot.
You might want to reach out to Mike Pinto and see where he's at with that. He usually handles that.
They told me you, because Diane used to do it, but I don't know.
No, Diane didn't do that.
Oh, okay. Well then, we'll find out. Gonna actually.
She was involved with a lot of stuff.
Correct. That was it. Thank everyone for coming out, and I think it was a good meeting. Well, I have Council President.
Kenneth?
I have no comments.
Just thank you for coming out, and it was a very interesting meeting. I learned a lot also with the with the ordinance for farmland and all, and I think it went very well. So thank everyone. Let's keep warm in this April weather that we're having.
I agree.
Waiting for the sunshine.
Just like to thank everyone for coming out. Hope to see you at the next meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.